Hey guys, alright, so as you can see this morning I have a lot of work to do. This is just a quick introduction update to what I'm doing today, and hopefully by the end of the day these will all be shined up and polished. I really appreciate all the support that I've been getting, and as you can see there's a lot of work that needs to happen. I am moving, like I said, from all the stuff that you see on the website. Some of it will go away, some of it will stay as far as the production blades. I think I've said this before, I am no longer taking custom orders at this time because I need to get back on track. Once I get back on track and I see that the orders are moving along, then I will probably open it up again. I want to thank everybody for their support and their time, but honestly I just I need to have a little bit of time because I do work a full-time job, and then the 2 days that I'm off I make knives for my customers, and that's a 7-day work week, which will pretty much drive anybody insane after a number of weeks or months. So I'm trying not to go insane, but I do love what I do. I do love making blades, so it's a passion and a hobby of mine, and it does help pay the bills. So I'm really happy that I have supporters such as yourself. So that being said, as far as custom orders or custom modifications, I'm no longer doing that. So if you buy a knife off the website, it will be sold as is. Please don't ask for extra jimping and extra this and extra that, and it's just because I just don't have the time to do it. As you can see on the table, this is just this week's. Last week's was twice as much as this. So if I have to work a modification on a knife, it might not come out right, or I might just not have the time to do it, so it's going to take a very long time, and that's just the time I don't have, because I want to be fair to everybody. I want everybody to have their blades. So that's it on those type of models. They are going to be sold as is. I did hook up with the Cerakote guy. I'm going to send him some of my stuff when it's done. I am currently working with the water jet guy, so I'm going to get about 80 blades in of the new designs. Okay, so that's one of them is the American buoy. I only ordered 10 of those because they are pretty expensive and not a lot of people buy them, but I want to get them out there in the market. I think it's an excellent, huge, big knife, and if somebody's into big knives, that's it. I ordered the Huntsman, I ordered the Talon, the new Mosquito, and of course you guys know I have the Master Chief. So those are going to be my 5 blades, and when I say I ordered them, I sent the design in CAD over to the water jet guy. Then he orders the steel, he cuts them out, and then he sends them to me. Alright, but like I said, I'm not going to modify those knives. I am going to add jimping, so for all you jimping nuts out there, I am going to put jimping on most of those blades, and they will be sold as is. Then I'm going to send them off to powder coat or Cerakote after they're sharpened, heat treated, and everything else, and then I'm going to put handle materials on it. The handle materials are going to be standard, so depending on the materials that I can purchase, most likely it would be black, maybe linen or paper micarta, and the sheets are going to pretty much be Kydex. So I'm moving along the lines of a manufacturing type deal, just for simple use, and I want to start sending out blades to reviewers, and I don't want the reviewers to get blades that are all over the place, or different blades, or a model that they don't make anymore. It just doesn't make sense. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to clean these last bits out. I do have 3 custom orders. Those there was the barbecue chef knife, the barbecue bush knife is now at heat treat. The Wounded Warrior's knife is out at heat treat. There's a couple other blades that I sent out to heat treat, and there's some Bushman 2.0 knives. So there's a couple. I sent about 16 blades out to heat treat. When those come back, I'm going to clean those up and get rid of those as well. I do have, I don't know if you can see in the back, I do have a bunch of blades left over, such as the Cadu's, HSKs, Pygmy Vipers, and a couple walkabouts. So that's pretty much, and the Shark's Tooth. I'll go over that in a little bit, and let's get to cleaning up. See, the first job, guys, is to straighten this out. If you don't have a straight platform to work on, it's not going to be easy. I use the cutoff just to get rid of these. You don't want to heat them up too much because you can loosen up the glue. And even though this is a, I think, 15-minute hardening epoxy glue, I usually wait 24 hours to make sure it really cures and sticks to the blade. I find it works out better. So all I'm going to do is clean this up, flatten the handles out a little bit, and then start cutting over here. You have to be extremely careful at this point because once you scratch the ricasso or anything in that area, it's going to be such a mess. You have to pretty much redo it. If you have any tooling marks on there, it's going to be a nightmare to get them out. Alright guys, this is pretty much probably the best tool I own. Probably the cheapest, but the best tool I own. It's just a drum sander. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them, Super Grits has them. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that to round out my handles. And as you can see, I do use a lot of tape to try to alleviate the scratches. And another quick tip is if you put your finger over the area you don't want to touch, it gives you a little bit more play against the sander. However, understand you're putting skin or glove against the sander, so you really don't want to hit that because your hands will start to look like mine and it'll look like a mess. So in any case, this is what I use, just a simple 2-inch piece, and I'm getting all the glue and all the other junk off. You know, every now and then you're going to see sparks, and that's you taking off the metal. It's acceptable, you know, you just can't, there's no other way of doing it. What you don't want to do though is leave gouges in the steel. That's why you always have to constantly move it. And once you get all the glue off, you start rounding out the handle a little bit. You don't want to push too hard because you are on a drill press. You don't want to warp the chuck. You just want to get it so it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. A little pressure. I'm just going to show you something. See on, this is what I'm looking for. Oh, you can see that. You see the low spot right there? Where the glue is dark? That's a low spot. That means that the steel is higher than the material. So what I have to do is ground down the material, the steel, to the same length or same height as the material and make it nice and flush. Alright, before I do any of the sides. Notice I haven't touched the sides at all, I just flattened them out. Alright, so I'm pretty much satisfied with the handle marks I got on there right now. Let me just blow it off real quick. Invaluable tool right there is the air compressor. But basically what you can see is between the belt sander and the drum sander, I'm able to get the lines that I want. You know, it's not always going to be square 45-degree angle. It could be rounded depending on the user, depending on how they want their handles. But I usually like to do this with black paper micarta. And the secret of black paper micarta is to use a rough grit. This is 36-inch grit. I'm sorry, 36 grit belts. And it gives it that scratch mark. And that scratch mark makes it look aged. Alright, so it gives it like a old antique-y look, and I really like that on my blades. And another thing is, with the pins, you want them to be on a flat plane. You don't want them to be, you know, one going this way, one going up this way. You know, you want the scratch marks to be uniform. You want the center line to be completely flat, and then your bevel marks to match and to, you know, to complement the center. Okay, you want it to be as uniform as possible. Now, understand, it's not going to be 100%. We're not in a milling shop. This is not made in China. This is made in my little workshop in New York City. So there will be little divots and dinks and stuff like that, but that's what gives it the handmade feel. If it's not 100% looks perfect, that's the idea behind it, is like, look, you know, I'm doing this not with major machinery, but just machines that, you know, can help me get the job done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up, take all the tape off, give it its final cleaning, and then you know, start making a sheath for it. So as you can see here too, I did use some duct tape, and as you can see, it does get hit. So, you know, be careful with that. It does get hit. So, you know, and you just definitely want to make sure that that ricasso is good. Make sure it didn't have any tool marks on there, and try to keep it as clean as possible. Like I said, you will get blemishes here and there, but overall, if the knife looks good, people will be happy. Alright, so final cleaning. Just get a regular shop rag, whatever you use. I use acetone. Acetone works really great to get all that glue off, all the glue marks, everything that, you know, was taped to it. It gets all the little dust. Alright, it will leave a film on your blade, but that's what buffing is for. You're just really trying to get all the glue off, because you don't want to put that on your sanding belt when you do the final buffing and final cleansing. That sounded weird. Final cleansing. Alright, so, you know, inspect the blade, look for marks. You know, I need a little more work on the back end here. There's a little divot, it's hard to see. Little ding right there. Please excuse my hands, because I've been working a couple days. But overall, pretty decent. It does need to put an edge on it, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix that, and I'm going to fix that. But acetone takes all that glue and all that other stuff off, so, you know, it's awesome. That's definitely recommended. Nice little EDC blade. What I like to use is the Scotch-Brite for the back end. I think it gives a nice uniform look, and it straightens it out a lot. Much better. Yeah. That's much better right there. That's what I'm looking for. You don't want the lines to be all squiggly. You want them to be straight up and down. Now hit the front a little bit. Make sure that's good. And fix that little ding in the corner. Like I said, at this point now you want to be really careful, because there's no tape. There's nothing on there, so you really got to be careful. You don't want to screw this up. Run all the lines to the nice and inside. Alright guys, at this point, I like to sharpen the knife. It's pretty much at its finishing stage. Not everybody likes to do this. They like to wait to completely the end. But the way I look at it is, once this is done, I'm going to buff it, and then I'm going to make a sheath for it. So we're pretty much finished. You have to be careful with this at this point, because like I said, now that you have all these nice grind lines in here, the last thing you want to do is mess it up and you know, potentially hurt yourself as well, because this is pretty dangerous work. What I like to do is I use a 60 grit belt, then I go to like a 120. You can go to all the way up to 400, 600, you know, a micron belt. But what I like to do is I like to leave the edge a little bit rough because it has a little bit more gripping power. You know, when everybody does that hand thing to take the hair off, the gripping power is what's really important here. This is a used 60 grit belt, and what I'm going to do is just use the slack part of it. Okay, doesn't have to go very fast. What you want to do is I like to start in the center and then just drag it around slowly, because you don't want to start eating up this edge right here, because you see like a lot of it gets eaten up because you're constantly starting at the edge. I like to start in the center and then move back. Mike Snowdy, thank you very much for showing me that little trick. And then when you are beveling it out like that, don't go all the way around and go this way, because that's when you start rounding the blade and rounding your tip. So you don't want to do that. Couple passes. Okay. Now what you're looking for is the burr on the steel. You definitely want, you're going to see a little piece of steel that's bent over like that. It's called the burr. That burr is going to tell you when you shaved off enough. If you leave the burr on, this knife will never be sharp. So what you're doing is when you go from belt to belt to belt all the way down, you're knocking the burr off, which makes it really, really sharp. You want one fluid motion. And you want one angle. The other thing is you want to look at the tip, because the tip is what's going to tell you if you have too much on this side or too much on that side. You want it right in the center. That looks pretty good to me. That looks pretty good. What I'm going to do is, it's already sharp. What I'm going to do is change a belt now. I'm going to go to my 120 grit. You can go, like I said, you can just keep changing grits all the way down. Even a leather strop. I do have a leather strop belt. I don't find that I need it. I don't think it's that necessary. Same scenario, slack of the belt, middle of the blade. Get your burr. And go back to the other side. Yep. And you'll start seeing the burr form. Yep, that's it. It's already sharp. So that's it. So what did I do? A couple passes. Alright, so it's kind of hard to see, but there is a little bit of burr on there. It's a little bit of an edged line. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it over to the buffer. I like to use the buffer to get the rest of that burr off. Alright guys, so this is the important part. This stuff is very dangerous. Everybody knows. If you are going to use a buffer, make sure you stay below the spindle line. Stay below it. Don't go on top, because you can catch the blade and it'll come back and hurt you very, very badly. You can wear gloves during this, during high spinning machines. I don't always wear gloves. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. My fingers are feeling it because I cut myself a lot yesterday. So that's one of the parts of knife making. You will get cut. So what I'm going to do is, not only am I going to polish the blade, but I'm going to take off that edge. And like I said, I don't know if you could see that edge right there. There is a little bit of burr on there, and I'm going to knock that off. I usually just use a black compound because it's I don't like to do high mirror polishes. Some guys do. I just don't, because it's a lot of work, and I think that if you're going to use this knife, you're going to scratch it up anyway. So just want to try to give it a professional look, but you know, not necessarily a mirror polish. So just load up, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it at a steep angle to knock that burr off. Then once I got the burr off, now I'm going to go ahead and finish polishing the rest of the knife. Alright, don't worry about the handles. You will get a little bit of the compound on the handles, just the way it works. Alright. Be careful of the edge. Try not to get it caught up. And compound is nothing more than paste with some grip, like sand in there, with a waxy paste. And what that does is it shines the metal. Get both sides, get in that nice ripasso. Get the spine. Now I'm going to go over to the cotton wheel, and the cotton wheel is the same thing. Make sure you get that edge all the way through. It's already sharp. And then go ahead and clean up. That's driving me crazy. You clean up all the wax or the paste that you just put on there. You can go through a lot of the different pastes and it'll give you a higher and higher buff. So if you want to go to, you know, the way I understood it is you go from dark to the white. So I would go black, brown, green, and then all the way up to the white. And what that does is it refines all the polish, you know, with different grits, stuff like that. I mean, for me, like I said, satin finish is good enough for me. I like the way it looks. You know, and it's just working, cleaning, work, clean, work, clean. Alright, and then what I do is, again with the acetone, clean up all the excess compound. Because that compound will make your knife look very dirty. So just clean it up. You might want to hit it again on the buffing sander or whatever, but just clean all that stuff off. Because that wax compound doesn't, you know, doesn't really do anything for shininess until you buff it off. I just got that in my cut and that burns like a mother. Alright. Make sure you get the bottom of the knife, and like I said, because it's sharp, you got to be very careful. Alright guys, so you can see there's a sharp edge on there. Alright, the tip is not blunted. It's not like it's not supposed to be. The tip is very nice, very sharp. It's got a secondary bevel. Okay, very sharp. You don't have to worry about it. This thing is super sharp, and it didn't take a lot of work. It didn't take a lot of time. How many passes did I do? A couple passes. All right, I did what? Maybe 3 or 4 passes on the knife. all day long, guys. And this is why I like carbon steels. Carbon steels retain their edge a lot longer, or tool steels, than stainless steels. The obvious problem with with tool steels is that they rust. So as long as you keep this in a good state of lubrication, you know, with either frog lube, mineral oil, WD-40, it will maintain its edge for a lot longer, which is why I like it. Also, carbon steels, if you hit it against a flint rock, will give you a spark, so that's good for survivalists. Stainless steels will not. You know, it has a nice big flat edge here for a fire striker, so if you want to fire strike it, you can. And again, you know, there's nothing wrong with tool steels. I like tool steels a lot, and I will continue to use tool steels. Alright guys, so I hope this helped out a little bit. I have, as you saw in the previous video, picture, a lot of these knives I have to get out to customers. I just want to give you guys a little bit more tutorial, and when I'm done with all the knives, I'll line them up and show you what's going on. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope it helped. Stay tuned.